Hello everybody, once again, this is LeoHightower, back up on YouTube once again, with another video game collection video. As many of you know, of course, I'm a Nintendo fanatic, or fanboy, well, whatever you want to call it, and for this next video, I'm going to be posting off my Nintendo Gamecube and Game Boy Advance games. This is going to be a twofer video on this one. I'm going to be showing off the Nintendo Gamecube. I'm going to be showing out the controls and my Game Boy Advance games, and anything else I can think of. So without further ado, I think we should get started with this video. So let's get started, shall we? As many of you know, or probably don't know, the Nintendo Gamecube, officially referred to as NGC, or in Japan, and GCN in other regions, is Nintendo's sixth generation video game console, released on September 15th, 2001 in Japan, November 18th, 2001 in North America, May the 3rd, 2002 in Europe, and May the 17th, 2002 in Australia. It was the successor to the Nintendo 64, one of my favorite game consoles of all time. The Nintendo Gamecube sold over 21.74 million units worldwide and was discontinued on February 22nd, 2007. Its successor, the Wii, was released in November 2006. The Nintendo Gamecube was the first Nintendo console to use optic discs as its primary storage medium after several aborted projects from Nintendo and its partners to utilize optical data-based media. In contrast with the Gamecube's contemporary competitors, Sony's PlayStation 2, Sega's Dreamcast, and Microsoft Xbox, the Gamecube used small mini DVD-based discs instead of full-size DVDs. Particularly, as a result of this, it does not have the DVD video playback functionality of these systems, nor the audio CD playback ability of other consoles that use full-size optic discs. In addition, the Nintendo Gamecube introduced a variety of connectivity options to Nintendo consoles, and it was the fourth Nintendo console after the Nintendo 64 DD, Famicom modem, and Satellaview to support online gameplay officially, via the Nintendo Gamecube broadband adapter and modem adapter, which were sold separately. It also enabled the connectivity to the Nintendo Game Boy Advance to access exclusive features of certain games, or to use the portable system as a controller for the Nintendo Game Boy player. First time I saw the Nintendo Gamecube was at a GameStop, which was located in the local mall out here where I live in Longview, Texas. And when I first saw the Gamecube, this was back in, I think, the early 2000s when they were first releasing it and whatnot. And when I first saw it, I was just mesmerized by the whole thing, especially with some of the games that they had on it that I was interested in playing, like Super Smash Bros. Melee, Super Mario Sunshine, Metroid Prime, and a bunch of others. First commercials I saw of the Gamecube were at my high school back then, whenever we had Channel 1 News or something. And every time I saw it, I was like, I gotta get me one of these Gamecubes whenever they come out. And I didn't. until 1 year later after I graduated from high school. I graduated high school in 2005. I got my GameCube 1 year later, 2006, during Easter break. During the Easter. First time I hooked it up was breathtaking, because my heart was basically pounding literally out of my chest. Well, not literally out of my chest, but you get the idea. First game that I actually played on the Nintendo GameCube was actually a demo of Metroid Prime at the local GameStop in the mall. And I couldn't figure out height nor hair of how the controller mechanics worked and everything, but I had fun taking a look at it. Memories. But when I got the GameCube and everything, I was satisfied and happy, because I knew I was going to have fun with it, especially if I got my little cousins to play it with me. My fondest memory of the GameCube was when I first got the first few games I got for it. Like, I got Melee, I got Mario Sunshine, and 2 others. And when I first started playing them and whatnot, I was instantly hooked on it. But it was a good thing I didn't have school or anything anymore, because I graduated from high school and everything. So I was happy. I was free to play the GameCube as much as I wanted, except for whenever I had to go to work a year later after I got a job. But overall, Nintendo GameCube is probably one of my favorite systems out of the Nintendo lineup. Of course, counting the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and of course the Game Boy handhelds. I've never once really touched a DS except at a store. I don't even own a DS, except for a DS emulator. But enough of that. Why don't I just show off the Nintendo GameCube and Nintendo GameCube games and accessories I got with it. Alrighty, now for the main event of this video, where I show off the Nintendo GameCube and all the accessories and stuff I got with it. Just give me a second, I got it right here. Alright, introducing my black little lunchbox, aka Nintendo GameCube, right here. There you go. There's the Nintendo GameCube right there. Of course, the Nintendo GameCube name right there. The Nintendo symbol right here. If you can see it though. My webcam sucks. Of course, the power button right here. Reset button. And of course, the open button. Let's see what's inside. Oh, we got a Mario Party 6 in here. Forgot to take it out. Of course, the handle for carrying it for easy carriage. And of course, right here, the slots for the controllers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And right here, my Nintendo GameCube memory cards. I actually got 3, but I'm not going to show the third one. There's my black one, the first one I got. And I got the second one right here. Here, my white one. I really use that one unless, of course, I need more storage. And take a look at this. Attached to the Nintendo GameCube is the Nintendo Game Boy Player, which I can use to play Nintendo Game Boy games on the TV over there. And we got a Game Boy Advance game inside, so let's take a look. What we have here is The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, right there. Can you see it? Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, which is basically a remake of Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, and of course the addition of the 4 Swords game. I've had this GameCube for about 6 years now, because I got it in 2006, so I've had it for about 6 years now, and it's been doing just fine up until now, with a few click noises and it freezing for strange reasons. But overall, it's been staying strong and good, and I love this portable little lunchbox. Mwah! One of my personal favorite systems, along with the N64. As you can see, here's the Nintendo Game Boy Player that's attached to it right here. And of course, let me show the back of it right here. See the Nintendo Game Boy Player symbol and whatnot. And of course, there's the back for the cords and everything, the power plug, the multi, and of course for the broadband and everything. Good old GameCube. Alrighty. Next up, here are the cords for the GameCube. Right here is the power cord right here. There's the Nintendo GameCube logo right there in front of it. Power plug, of course. Yes, you need that. And of course, here is the multi, which I use for both N64 and Super Nintendo, and of course for the GameCube. We have an adapter for such occasions if I want to plug it into the TV, but I rarely use it. I use this one for my Nintendo GameCube, N64, and Super Nintendo, because my old N64 one, it broke unfortunately, which sucks badly. Let me just put that right there. Alright, next up are, of course, the controllers. Let me just unwrap this right here. Right here is one of my first Nintendo 64 GameCube controllers right here. This is the platinum colored one. Simple GameCube controller and whatnot. Analog stick, D-pad, start button, A, B, X, Y, of course C stick, C button at the top, and of course L and R buttons. I had two platinum controllers back then, but the other one got a little screwy on me because of the control stick messing up, so I had to throw that one away. I've had this one for about a good 6 years, just like the other one. And I use this one mainly for when I'm not using one of my wireless controllers. Good little controller and everything. It's held up greatly throughout these years. Good controller. Next up is the wireless N64 Wavebird Platinum controller right here. This is one of the wireless controllers right here. Simple, same as the other controller. The only difference is it's wireless. Battery is in the back right here. Tuner to tune for where the controller is supposed to receive the signal. Power switch right here to cut it on and off. Simple controller. Had this one for about 4 years now. And of course here's the connector for it right here, which you plug into the GameCube or Wii, whatever. Next up is my Arsenal Gaming, I believe this was a Yobo controller right here. Let me unwrap this. Black GameCube controller right here. I've had this one since this is another one I've had since we first got the GameCube. Got it a year later. Simple GameCube controller, just like the other one. The only difference is it's a turbo controller. Right there. Just put it up. If you can see right there. Turbo, start, macro. The macro is basically a temporary turbo button, but I don't care to use it. This is a good controller. I rarely use it every once in a while, but it's good. It's a good controller. Analog stick and L and R buttons and C button feel good and everything. I only use the turbo for some games, but not a lot, because I don't really like to use turbo that lot. Unless, of course, I really want to beat the computer at a game like Mario Party or something. And last but not least right here is my Dream Gear wireless GameCube controller right here. I got this one from Hastings one day when I went out with my sister birthday gift shopping. This is a pretty standard wireless controller for the GameCube. It's also a turbo controller. The turbo button is right there. And of course the connect button, which you need to push in order to start using it. Let me cut it on right there. It lights up whenever you cut it on. It's got a crimson red feel to it, which is very nice, and that blinking light means the connector button is waiting to receive this right here, which is the little connector. You have to plug this into the GameCube or Wii in order to use it. Pretty standard GameCube controller. The feel of it is really, really nice, because it's just comfortable in your hands when you grip onto it. Very, very nice. Analog stick feels great. The buttons are very responsive and everything. It's one of those controllers you definitely gotta have. And right here, which is necessary for the Nintendo Game Boy player, is the startup disc right here. Excuse the pen markings. I had to spank one of my nephews for trying to write on it with his bad self. But right here is the startup disc, which is necessary to start using the Nintendo Game Boy player. Let me just unwrap that right here. This is the box right here. Open it up. Instruction booklet, and of course the disc right here, which are necessary, and there's a memory card slot. If you don't have the disc with the Nintendo Game Boy player, you cannot use the Game Boy player. This is a necessity. If you find a Nintendo Game Boy player, you've got to make sure that they have the disc to this right here. Otherwise, you cannot use it. And last but not least, right here is my Nintendo GameCube game carrying case. This can hold up to only 12 games, but it's good. It can hold up to about 12 games, which is okay, but I have a whole lot more games for this system. It's black. I got this one time with the controller, the Dream Gear controller, and it was a nice little addition and whatnot. I got about 12 total games right here in this thing right here, and it's pretty good. It's if you're going on a trip and everything, then you'll definitely need it for carrying your Nintendo Gamecube games. So that's pretty much the Nintendo Gamecube, which is the black lunchbox, and of course the controllers and accessories I got with it. Now, I think it's time I show off the Nintendo Gamecube games.
The cold silence of space only punctuates the feeling of death that emanates from this virtually lifeless planet. Only one thing is alive and well here. Evil. And it must be destroyed, decimated, exterminated. But first, it must be found. Rated T for teen.
Alright, now we move on to the next part of the video, which is the Nintendo GameCube games. Note that none of these games are in alphabetical order, and I have no interest in starting in a specific order, so why don't we get started, shall we? The GameCube games are right here in this chair. Hang on a sec. Alrighty. First up is one of the first GameCube games I got when I first got it. Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo! And I beat this game not too long ago, actually. It took me a long time. And now I'm trying to find all the shine sprites and get all the blue coins. Good little game, but most people don't really like it too much. It's critically acclaimed, though, because of how beautiful it is. A lot better than Luigi's Mansion, I can tell you that much. Next up is another Mario game, which is a player's choice. Mario Golf Toadstool Tour! I wish I could get the Game Boy Advance game so I could put my characters on, I've been playing on my emulator on here, but oh well. I can dream though. Good, solid golf game, better than its predecessor, Mario Golf on the Nintendo 64. Very good game. If you're a Mario fan and you enjoy golf, you'll definitely want to pick this game up. Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Next up is another Mario game. I'm sorry, not that one. Another Mario game. Mario Superstar Baseball. I'm close to beating the star level for this game. Is really difficult, but it's a fun Mario game from beginning to end. You play baseball with Mario and the others. There's hitting home runs and whatnot, using all sorts of power-ups. Kooky little game. This is a bestseller right here. See the bestseller stamp right there? Good little game. Worth having, in my opinion. Okay, moving on is, I don't play this one that much anymore because I have the game on PS3. Well, basically, Sonic Gems Collection. This is the GameCube version right here. There are Sonic CDs, Sonic the Fighters, and Sonic R, and a few Game Gear games on this one right here. So the extras are fun to unlock and everything, but in my opinion, I don't play this one anymore because I got bored with it trying to unlock everything. Too much of a hassle and chore. The only gems on this game are Sonic CD and Sonic the Fighters and Sonic R, while the Game Gear games pretty much suck. And did I really need to unlock Vector Man 1 and 2 on this thing? I would have settled for Streets of Rage or something else. But overall, it's okay though, but not so good. Alright, moving on. Once again, another Mario game. A bestseller. Mario Power Tennis. A whole lot better than its predecessor, Mario Tennis, which was on the Nintendo 64. And a very good, solid game from beginning to end. And you can unlock all sorts of little characters on here. And if you have a Game Boy Advance, you can link up with Mario Tennis on the Game Game Boy Advance and play with the characters that you have on there. Good game from beginning to good solid game. You'll have fun playing it, especially if with multiplayer. Next up is another Mario game. The first Mario Party game I got for the GameCube back then when I was shopping around. Mario Party 5. And this one, pretty much, Donkey Kong takes a break, I guess, from being a playable character and becomes a space on this one. Instead, on this one, you can play as Toad, Boo, or a mini Bowser. Bowser Jr. in this case. Overall, though, it's a fun Mario Party game. The item system has been replaced with orbs that you throw on the map to disrupt players and whatnot. But it's okay to play, I guess. It's alright. Not too good, but alright, I guess. I love Mario Party, though, so I'm not going to complain. Next up is the one game that I wanted to play on the Nintendo Gamecube more than anything, Super Smash Bros. Melee, and this is the best seller right here. The solid Nintendo beat 'em up franchise, which is Nintendo's pop culture more than anything. Awesome game, worth playing, very fun. This is the game that my cousin pretty much beats me up at and everything, whether it was the original Smash Brothers on Nintendo 64 or this one. Heck, he even beats me on Brawl. I'm like, damn it! But overall, this is a bestseller. You have to have this if you have a Nintendo GameCube. If you don't, you fail at life. And I'm serious about that. Next up is, once again, another Mario game. Only it's Mario Party 4. The first Mario Party game to move on to the next console, the Nintendo GameCube. In this one, the item system is a little bit nyeh because of all the mushrooms and stuff like that you can get. I didn't like the item system in this one, but still, it plays solidly from beginning to end and whatnot, and the boards are really fun to play. Favorite one would have to be Toad's Amusement Park, or whatever it's called. It's nice. It's a nice Mario Party game. Okay, moving on is one of the best-selling fighting game franchises of all time. This is the player's choice. Soul Calibur 2 with Link on it. On this one, I got this one mainly because I wanted to play as Link. We had the PS2 version, but I let one of my stepbrothers borrow it and we never got it back. But I was happy to get this because in this one, I can play as Link. And it's a solid, and of course this is the best out of the Soul Calibur series. Number 2 is probably the best in my opinion. You can play as Link and it's very fun. Multiplayer is a blast though. Get it, especially if you're a fan of Legend of Zelda. Trust me, Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube, worth having. Next up is, once again, ladies and gentlemen, another Mario game. Yeah, I'm a Mario fanboy, as much as I love Sonic. Super Mario Strikers, soccer, basically. And this is the bestseller right here. See the best-selling stamp? You play a soccer with Mario in the game as you've never seen it before. This game is hardcore edgy, and they're not afraid to show off their bad side. Literally. This is a fun, solid soccer Mario sports game, just like the Mario Tennis and, of course, golf games. Only it's a little bit more edgy. Electric fences, throwing out chain chomps to stop your opponents, and, of course, Bowser showing up in unexpected moments to stop you from scoring in the game and whatnot. Awesome title from beginning to end. If you have friends, you can play 4 players simultaneously, and it is a blast to play. Mario Strikers is fun. I want to play the Wii game Mario Strikers Charged more than anything. Next up is Wario World. Greed is good. Greed will get you everything, even if you have to patch up your enemy to do so. Have a rotten day! Wario's gold has been turned into monsters thanks to the strange black gem that he found, and now it's up to him to get his gold back and his castle. This is, I think, a prequel to Super Mario Land, Wario Land, in which you collect all sorts of items and stuff from those different pirates and whatnot. It's a short game, but it's worth having in my opinion. The music is very cool, very good to listen to, and it's very fun. You can also link up to WarioWare Inc. and transfer a sampling of it to the GameCube, which is very fun, I might add. Next up is a remake of the first Metal Gear Solid game, which came out on PlayStation, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Now, this is basically a remake of the first Metal Gear Solid game, which came out on PlayStation 1. And in my opinion, it still holds up greatly after all this time. You have to forgive me, I've got a few allergies right now, so forgive me if I start sneezing and whatnot. This is basically a remake for the Nintendo Gamecube, and it's a very fun game. In my opinion, this doesn't have the bestseller stamp on it, but it's still worth it. The cutscenes and whatnot are made by Silicon Knights, who are responsible for the Eternal Darkness series, and this is worth having in your GameCube library. Also included was the addition of the first-person view mode, which was in Metal Gear Solid 2, as well as great animated cutscenes. The voice acting is very great too. Hideo Kojima is a god, and Shigeru Miyamoto is too. Alright, next up is... move those out of the way. Next up is... The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition, which was a promotional disc for the Wind Waker, the greatest Zelda collection of all time, which includes the first Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Zelda Ocarina of Time, and of course Majora's Mask. I have yet to beat Zelda 1 or 2, but I've beaten Ocarina of Time already and Majora's Mask, if you remember my N64 videos. Anyway, moving on from that. Next up is another Zelda game, but this one is a bit of a two-in-one. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, double pack, which is basically the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the original, and of course the newly included Master Quest, which is a much harder, which is a secondary challenge for those. Only true heroes will make it through that one alive. I got this one mainly because I was interested in the Master Quest, and because I needed more Zelda in my life, even though I have the original on N64. Next up is Tales of Symphonia, which is part of the Tales of series for the Nintendo Gamecube. This is my favorite RPG for the Nintendo Gamecube. I think it's probably the only one I've got, basically. The graphics are beautiful, I love the battle system, and it's just overall great. You can play 4 players on this one, but I managed to make it through pretty easily. It's one of my favorite games of all time on the Tales series, and it got me hooked on the Tales series, basically. I love this game. The music, the graphics, the characters, everything. Tales of Symphonia, get it for your Nintendo Gamecube. I wish I could play the sequel, though, but oh well. Next up is Star Fox Adventures for the Nintendo Gamecube. Now, this is a bit of a rare gem in my opinion, and it's a pretty average Star Fox game. It's also the one that introduced us to, of course, everyone's favorite furry hot dream, Crystal! In this game, of course, you play the role as the Star Fox team, as Fox McCloud as he explores the dinosaur planet Saria, and you try to save the planet from General Scales. In my opinion, this is a bit of a rare gem, but if you want my opinion, they should have just stuck with staying in the cockpit on some parts. But overall, this is an okay game. It's made from the people who gave us Banjo-Kazooie, Rare, but it's pretty good. It's an okay game in my opinion. Alright, next up on the list is Bomberman Generation. This is basically the prequel to Bomberman Jetters, if I'm right, on the Nintendo GameCube. And so far, it's an interesting little game. Just like Bomberman Jetters, you control Bomberman and you move across the different worlds, moving across map for map, collecting power-ups and destroying enemies, solving puzzles and whatnot. The multiplayer, of course, is one of the main reasons to play this game. It's fun. 4-player mayhem, challenging minigames, and the 3D adventure is really impressive. Classic multiplayer fun and everything. I've yet to get back to it. It's a fun game, though. Okay, moving on. Next up is SSX 3. And this, in my opinion, is probably one of the funnest snowboarding games you can possibly find on the Nintendo GameCube right here. You can also get it for PS2. SSX Tricky is also on GameCube, if I'm right. I gotta find that sometime. Fun, arcade-style like snowboarding. It's a fun and arcade-like snowboarding game. And you can also, and it's also Game Boy Advance compatible too. It's very, very fun to play. The music is awesome too, and there's a whole cast of colorful characters ranging from the original SSX all the way up to the new characters on this game, like Nate Griffin, Allegra Sauvages, Boy Wonder Griff Simmons, and Vigo Rolling. I really like the game more than anything. It's possibly one of the funnest games you can possibly get. Anyway, moving on. Next up is the main reason I also got a GameCube, mainly because of this game, Metroid Prime. The first time ever, take control of Samus in a first-person style of view. This was the main reason I got a GameCube, and it's one of the first few games I played on the GameCube. Take control of Samus as you explore Talent 4 in a first-person style view. You can use her power suit, power beam, switch into morph bomb mode to use bombs, use all sorts of different visors such as thermal and scanning and whatnot. You really feel like you're in Samus's armor as you play through the game. It's solid from beginning to end, and it's a bestseller. This is a bestseller in my opinion. It doesn't have the stamp on here, but trust me, this is a player's choice and bestseller. You gotta play this game. Trust me, it's worth it. Metroid Prime. Next up is the sequel to Metroid Prime, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. In this game, you team up with an alien race known as the Luminat. And in this game, of course, Samus is doing her duty as an intergalactic bounty hunter and exploring a patrol of lost space police on the planet Aether. But along the way, she discovers terrible things have happened, and Aether is being split into two different sides, a light side and a dark side. You have to combine the light beam and the dark beams against the terrible Ing, who are the enemies of this game, and you must also take out your pesky doppelganger who was born at the end of Metroid Prime 1 in order to beat this game. Solid game from beginning to end, but there's endless backtracking as you play through the game. Next up is F-Zero GX. This is a fast F-Zero game. How fast is it? It's faster than F-Zero X on the Nintendo 64. I can tell you that much. You can also take your memory card to the arcade and link up to an F-Zero AX arcade cabinet to earn custom machine, new parts, and all sorts of stuff. But finding an arcade system somewhere in this day and age is probably non-existent. But still, it's a fast game, but the main thing is the difficulty balancing. It's not too often that you'll beat through a racetrack only to lose all your lives, falling off the course, or being shoved off by the computer players, which is a pain in the ass. But overall, it's a fast racing game, and I recommend it to anyone who owns a GameCube. Next up is, I have the original on Dreamcast, but it's a bit outdated. In my opinion, this is a nice remake of, well, whatever. Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut. Same game on the Dreamcast, only on the GameCube. This is a player's choice right here, and in my opinion, it's a bestseller. Same Sonic Adventure game we played and loved on the Dreamcast, with a few with a new mission mode, bonus games, and the ability to connect to Sonic Pinball Party via the GameCube Nintendo Game Boy Advance cable. And also, there's also the Chow system. It's a bit more advanced than the Dreamcast version, because now you don't end up actually killing your Chow, unless of course you do on purpose or by accident. I like the Chow system on this one. I've beaten this game I don't know how many times, but the main thing I gotta worry about is the Chow system, because that's the main thing I'm focusing on, the Chow system. Same could be said for Sonic Adventure 2. I have the original on Dreamcast, as well as Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast. I can't show off the Dreamcast because unfortunately my cousin has it, which blows, but that's okay. I'll get it back eventually. Next up is the sequel, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and this is another player's choice. It's mistaken for a dark, mysterious hedgehog, who we all know as Shadow. Sonic must discover who is responsible for his troubles, and you can choose Hero or Dark. It's the same game on the Dreamcast, just like it is on the Dreamcast, only with the addition of the new and enhanced two-player action mode, the cute and adorable Chow Karate, and of course you can connect to the Sonic Advance to take care of your Chow on the go and whatnot, which is very fun. It expands on the Chow mechanics. I love Chow. Next up is another bestseller for the Nintendo Gamecube. A lot of people don't like it because of how cartoony it looks, but it's very fun. Sequel to Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. This is a critically acclaimed game in my opinion, and it deserves everything it needs as a bestseller. In my opinion, this is a very fun Zelda game. My cousin first got this and told me I should try it out if I ever got a GameCube. Though it looks cartoony, it's a fun game from beginning to end. When you're controlling Link, and the way how Link's eyes move and stuff as you interact with the background and everything is very nice. It's a good game. It controls Link as he moves across the open land of Hyrule, which is covered with water and all sorts of islands. And of course the boss battles are fun too. Next up is another Mario Kart game. Another Mario game. Mario Kart Double Dash, and this is a player's choice. Well, it doesn't have the player's choice, but it's a bestseller in all overall. Double the fun as you control double the fun in the Mario Kart series as each kart now holds 2 races, so you can switch places at any time. It's the same as playing Mario Kart on 64 on the Nintendo 64. Only this time you can control 2 characters, switch back and forth between the 2 character combos, throw items and whatnot. It's fun to play. It's very fun. Multiplayer is a blast if you have 4 players. And of course, if you have broadband, you can connect online to play with people online. But I think that's pretty non-existent and difficult to do. Next up is another Mario game. Sequel to the first one that came out on Nintendo 64. Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. This game is a critically acclaimed game in my opinion, and it has the bestseller seal of approval. Control Mario as you explore the town of Rogueport and all over the land as you try to uncover the secret behind the Thousand-Year Door and the ancient treasure that is sealed behind it. It's a great game from beginning to end. It's a must-have for Nintendo GameCube owners. And next up is a rare gem in my opinion. I need to get back to it at a good time. Kirby Air Ride. In this game, you can control Kirby on different types of air ride machines, such as his Warp Star, the Wheelie, and whatnot. It's a fun little racing game, and I gotta find a good time to get back to it. It's a rare gem in my opinion, because many people didn't like it, but some people also liked it. Kirby Right Back at Ya, which was part of 4Kids lineup, it showed some of the air ride machines off, such as the Dark Star, and the Soaring Star, or whatever it's called. But overall, it's worth having in your library. Next up is Bomberman Jetters. Based on the popular anime Bomberman Jetters, you control Bomberman as he tries to stop the Higgy bandits who are trying to crash an artificial comet into Planet Bomber. The multiplayer is the same as Bomberman Generation, which is fun, and you can switch between Max and Bomberman while playing as you try to stop the Higgy bandits. It's a fun, solid game. The multiplayer is a blast. I'd recommend it to anyone who also has a GameCube. This is a fun game. Next up is a fun little arcade-style game from Japan, Ikaruga. This is the same game on the Dreamcast, if I remember, and it holds up nicely after all this time. Experience battle in 18 different stages, switching from a different display. The Bullet Eater system is awesome, and this is a game that will literally kick your ass if you're not careful. Switch from light to dark as you try and fight off the different enemies. This is a rare game in my opinion, and it's worth owning. This is something you definitely gotta own if you're a fan of Japan games. It's also made by Treasure Video Games, who are also responsible for games like Mischief Makers, and of course, it's made by Atari. It's worth owning. Any game that I say is worth owning is worth owning. Don't misjudge me. Next up is one of the best sellers from a company who shall not be named because they suck now, and I wish they would have kept going with this. Viewtiful Joe. Hitchin' a go-go, baby! Player's choice. I got this from my cousin when he first gave away his GameCube, and so far throughout the time I've been trying to play this game, it's fun. I have yet to get back to it because I made it far, but I had to restart because my memory card got corrupted, and I had to redo most of my games. It's fun to play this game. It's fun, great 3D to 2D action hybrid system with a fun and cool character. And it's one of the games of the years in 2006. The company that shall not be named, I will not name because we all know who it is. And I hate them for the way how they've done on some games franchises. Next up is another game by the company that shall not be named. Resident Evil 0. I need to find a good time to get back to this one too. You control, what's her name? Oh yeah, Rebecca and Billy Cohen as they try to move through this game, fighting off zombies, leech zombies, and all sorts of horrible mutations. I need to find a good time to get back to this. This is the one that where you switch back and forth between different characters to make it through areas, such as solving puzzles or taking out enemies. Billy can take more abuse than Rebecca, and Rebecca is good at mixing herbs. This is a pretty good game if you want to know the origin story of what happened before the incident at the mansion. Resident Evil 0. I wish I could find the remake. Next up is another Zelda game. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, and this is the GameCube version right here. This is a bestseller in my opinion because it is such a great Zelda game from beginning to end. Link is a farm boy in the village of, what's it called? Oh, never mind. And as he's preparing for a journey to Hyrule Castle, his friends get attacked and kidnapped, and it's up to him to save them. Along the way, he gets pulled into a mysterious dark world known as the Twilight, and he gets turned into a wolf. Later, he learns that he is the hero of time, and he must save the world from the Twilight. Along the way, he is accompanied by a mysterious imp-like creature known as Midna. The game holds up nicely on the GameCube, showing off the beautiful, beautiful graphics. And this is a game that any Zelda fan should play. I'm tempted to try and play the Wii version, because I don't have a Wii, but I would love to play it more than anything. Hell, I'll get 2 copies of the game if they're on different consoles and whatnot. Next up is Mario Party 6, which was in the GameCube a little while ago. In this game, you can control Toad, Toadette, Boo, and a few other characters. Switch between day and nighttime as you move across the different boards, which is very fun, I might add. But in my opinion, the item system is replaced with the orb system, in my opinion, which I think really sucks. Next up is Star Fox Assault, which is the sequel to Star Fox Adventures. You're placed back in the R-Wing with Fox and friends, and of course the Landmaster, and of course you're moving on foot. In this game, you try to stop the Apparate Menace from taking over the Lylat system. And overall, this is a very good game from beginning to end. The difficulties are very, very challenging, ranging from bronze to silver to gold. And of course, playing on foot is very simple and easy. Playing in the Landmaster tank is mad, but the R-Wing is the way to go. It's fun from beginning to end, and it's a very good Star Fox game. I wish they would continue Star Fox. Nintendo should continue Star Fox. And last but not least on our little list here is another rare gem. Many people don't like it, but it's good. I consider it fun. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix. Basically Dance Dance Revolution, only with Mario tunes that have been remixed and whatnot. You can turn on Mush Mode to finally experience the thrill of stomping on Goombas and other enemies, or you can grab a friend and throw down dance party style. There's also extra songs and mini games and a story mode to keep you going. There's also a calorie mode which is also useful for doing exercise moves and whatnot. And I need to get the dance pad just so I'll be right back. Hold on. And right here in my hands is the DDR Mario dance pad, which also came with the game. Sorry that it's so big. Let me see if I can scoot back a little bit and show it off. As you can see, simple DDR dance pad layout. Start right there. There, of course. There's A, and the A button, B button, of course. The arrows, which you step on and whatnot. And there's the Mario with the symbol right there. There's also the Z button, which is necessary for mush mode and whatnot. And this is, of course, necessary for playing DDR Mario Mix, but of course, if you're feeling cocky like me, you can try and use the controller, but that only takes the fun out of the whole experience. Sorry about that, you guys. My microphone came unplugged when I was showing off the Nintendo Gamecube, well, the DDR Mario Dance Pad. But anyway, those were my Nintendo Gamecube. That was my Nintendo Gamecube, my Nintendo Gamecube games, and of course all the accessories and controllers I had with it. Thank you guys very much for watching the video. I hope to see you on the next one, which will probably be the RPG Maker alternate intro for Project Sage Mariami. I know I've been saying that it's coming soon and whatnot, but trust me, it's coming soon. You just gotta be patient with me. To those who have been patient, thank you. For those who have not. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I am Leo Hightower, and I will be signing out. Until the next time we meet, peace out, you guys.